Well, hey gang, it's the Speedy Husky here. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. It's January in Michigan. We're almost rolling into February. There's no car stuff going on. All of our cars are parked under car covers and in storage. So I thought, you know, it might be fun to do a informational video on some gadgety stuff for our car for the 2021 car season. I've been doing car audio for over 30 years. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. Way back in the early 80s, we had not a lot of money to do stuff, so we had brands like Pioneer and Craco. I'm going to show you how to get a low-cost subwoofer in your car. So let me talk you through the tools, supplies, and parts and pieces that it takes to put this subwoofer together. This is a very low-cost pre-made box that I ordered online. It was, I think, $30. It was very cheap. It comes already carpeted. This particular box is for a 10-inch subwoofer, because this particular car that it's going into doesn't need a big subwoofer. This does not have any wiring installed. They're made out of MDF or multiple density fiberboard. They're lightweight and very strong. You want to make sure that you have a strong box as your foundation. To my speaker veterans out there, you know who you are. I can see the comments exploding now. Why did you buy that? That's not a JL Audio. Da, 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 da. Keep in mind, basic. You're a teenage kid going to the store and you just want some tunes in your car. You don't have a lot of money. Later down the road, when you get more money and you have more power to be able to supply to the subwoofers, then you want a little bit better quality box. But for your first one, plenty good enough. Just start somewhere. Now the drivers that I selected are a very simple 10-inch subwoofer driver, and they're rated up to 600 watts maximum. They are a SPL brand. They're very low cost. They're very affordable for someone just wanting a little bit of reinforcement sound. These are not going to rattle the neighbor's windows off because there's not that much power to them. However, even in hot rod applications, classic car applications, or a daily driver, two 10-inch subwoofers in your car will drastically improve the quality of your music. The subwoofers come in a box with instructions and a manual, and also a handy template. If you are building your own box, they give you a template to be able to cut out the holes for the size of woofer that you're installing. So the speaker wires are pretty important. You want a good quality OFC oxygen-free copper speaker wire, and you want it a heavy enough gauge to make sure it can transfer the power from the amplifier to the speaker box. With all of my installations, this is important that you select like a 12 or a 14 gauge or even a 10 gauge wire on the inside of the box, because you're not going to be swapping out subwoofers all that often. The one time you do it, make sure you put in a good quality cable. I take the speaker wire and I will trim it. I get them at the same length. Try not to do different lengths on them. Try to get them as close to the same length as you can. On each end, you'll see that I have them stripped and twisted for installation of my crimp terminals. So let's talk crimping tools. The most common one that everybody has is this thing. This is available at every hardware store, Walmart, Meijer, Kmart, and it's still sold today. These are okay for stripping wires. For crimping, they're okay. They'll get you by, but these are kind of junk, really. If you're only gonna do it once or twice, these are probably okay. For us that have done 50 installs or more, we have these. There's a metal die in here that helps to crimp the connector and the wire together. A solid connection is very important. If you're serious about automotive wiring, definitely spend the money and get yourself a good pair of crimpers. These are optional speaker grills that I purchased for this particular box. Because it's going in a trunk, I want to make sure that nothing hits the speakers and damages them. So these are a cheap way to protect your subwoofers from getting damaged in the trunk. Supplies needed to assemble this box would include a cordless drill, a drill bit, a Phillips bit, crimpers, screws, quick connectors, and speaker cable. So let's put our wire assembly together. We're going to take the yellow spade connector and we're going to put it on our twisted speaker wire, and they slide on just like this. You go till they stop, push it down, and then If you use the cheap wire crimpers, notice how they have the yellow dot on the crimper. That tells you it's for a 10 gauge wire. Blue and red are the other two sizes of terminals that you can use. And you would take this and you would squeeze it. Now I'm going to use my good crimpers for this. You'll notice this also has the color-coded terminal size. I got to ruin the magic a little bit. I don't have enough dexterity, so human hands. We want to crimp in this area, in the center. We're going to position this in the die, line it up with the center, and start to ratchet this down. And squeeze all the way, and then release. There you go. That is a properly crimped terminal. It's very important with all automotive terminals. It doesn't matter if it's speakers, amplifiers, any electrical that you have in your automobile, and even your house. It's got to be a good sound connection. If it's not, it'll generate heat and it'll catch on fire. Let me finish the rest of these ends on both sides of the wire, and we'll be right back. This is your terminal cup. This would be the positive wire from the amplifier, and this would be the negative wire. This is a spring-loaded terminal cup. These are the cheap ones. You really want the binding post ones. They're metal and they twist down on the wire. It's a much better connection. Or they accept banana clip type of connectors. But again, budget build, this is what we're running with for now. So we need to take our wires and connect them to the correct polarity. On your wire, you will see writing, and you just want to make sure that you are consistent when you install your wires to your terminals and your speaker. Positive to positive, negative to negative. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to slide this on my spade connector. There's one, and I'm going to do it on the other. So now you can see that they're both clearly on the speaker terminal cup. Bring your wires out of the box and set them up here and get them ready for your speaker. Now you want to line up your wires with positive and negative. On the back of the speaker terminals, these are just spade terminals. You'll want to put your plus sign is positive and your negative sign is negative. One, and there's your terminals. Flip the speaker over and you put it in the hole of the box, like that. A higher quality box and a higher quality speaker, you would have a seal between the box and the speaker. It goes on the back rim of the speaker and then squishes down to make sure the box is completely sealed. But again, ultra low budget, this is how it's going in. So now what we want to do is we want to line up the bottom of the box or the top of the box and the lettering to make sure that it looks straight. If it looks straight, we're good to go. We can start installing the screws. Now I'm going to use my drill to put in some pilot holes for the screws to go into to fasten the subwoofer. Once I do this, I'll want to pull that out and then vacuum the shavings out of the box. I am going to only put in 4 because I have speaker grills that I'm going to also install over top of these. Now that we've got the 4 in, I didn't want to rely on this very thin ring to hold the speaker to the box. I wanted a good seal to the box. This is the outer ring. This goes around the speaker basket like this and then sets down. Line this up with the holes in the speaker, and then we'll put in the remaining screws, the remaining 4 screws here, and then this grill cover simply slides over the top of that ring, and it goes just like that. So that's a completed install of the subwoofer itself. So I'll do the other side and we'll be right back. Well, now that we've installed both subwoofers and the screens, this project is done. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? This will last you quite a few years if you take care of it. This isn't a high-end audio box, right? It's not going to be an ultra high wattage box, 600 watts probably, around there. But for a budget build, this will work fine. Down the road when you get a little more serious with car audio, then you can up the ante with high-end brands such as JL. With this particular setup, you don't want to over amplify. These particular subwoofers are rated for roughly 200 watts RMS. I would not put anything more than like a 300 or 400 watt amplifier total for both subwoofers. You have to match the amplifier power with the subwoofer that you're installing. I noticed something. I shedded all over this thing. I need to get the vacuum. Well, I hope you enjoyed this simple tutorial on how to assemble a subwoofer box of your own. Let me know in the comments below what your very first stereo setup was. If you like this video, click like and subscribe to be notified of more automotive shenanigans from me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye!